Do you only have $20 to spend to feed yourself for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 7 days? Well, friends, I have come up with a delicious menu that can accomplish just that. Welcome, friends. My name is Heather, and thanks for joining me here at Finance Working Mama. I decided to do this meal plan because I'm so fortunate to mentor this young lady who is going to college full-time, as well as working 2 different jobs. And we were talking about all things, her studies and whatnot. And then she shared with me that expenses are a little bit more this month than she projected or budgeted. And she had about $30-ish left over to spend to feed herself for the next week until she got paid. And she says, I do have a savings account, but I really don't want to touch it unless I absolutely have to. And I said, you know what? Let me help you put together a meal plan that will feed you for 3 days. 3 meals for 7 days. And she gave me the rundown, what she had in her apartment. She said, I've got the basics. I've got olive oil and vinegar, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning, and some seasoning salt. So that really gave us a good base of what I could put together for her to feed her for 3 meals a day for 7 days. So friends, let's go over what we purchased for that meal plan that only cost her $20 and that fed her for 7 days. All right, friends, this is the grocery haul that will feed one person for 7 days, breakfast, lunches, and dinner. Italian seasoning dressing mix. You need to add olive oil or oil and vinegar. And then we have the beef stew seasoning mix. We have pizza sauce, rotini, a package of the buttery flavored complete potatoes. The dairy, we have 8 ounces of Colby Jack cheese. We have 5 jumbo biscuits. And then we have 2 Greek yogurt light. We have a strawberry, and we have a banana cream. Protein, we have Canadian bacon. We have a pound of ground turkey, 85.15. And we have a package of the turkey pepperoni. Veggies, we have a package, 1 pound of the whole carrots. We have 12 ounces of frozen green beans, 1 little banana, and then 1 cucumber. What's the plan for breakfast? Well, as you can see, I had some biscuits in that grocery haul and some Canadian bacon and 8 ounces of cheese that we're going to really spread throughout those 7 days. So what I was thinking is bake up those 5 biscuits, and they're the graham biscuits. They're bigger, which is nice, more substantial. And I used that whole package of Canadian bacon. It left about 2 slices of bacon, ham, for each biscuit. And then I sliced up 2 pieces of cheese to put on each biscuit. I packaged those up in little plastic baggies and threw them in the fridge and heated them up throughout the week. Just a little trick and a hint in heating these up. It only takes 30 seconds, but you want to take it out of the package, put it on a paper plate or a paper towel, open it up, take the cheese out, heat it up for 35 seconds, then take it out, put the cheese back into your biscuit, close it up, and wait just a minute or 2. It will cool down, melt that cheese, and that biscuit is perfect. That is 5 biscuits for 5 days. And you say, well, you have 2 more days left. Well, wanted some variety in there because who wants to eat the same thing every single day? So I threw in 2 different yogurts, and then you saw that 1 banana. And basically, we cut that banana in half, diced up half that banana and put it into 1 yogurt. And then, of course, I left another half and another yogurt for another breakfast. So she could have, or like I did, because that's what I ate for breakfast for 7 days, is I had a
ham biscuit one day and a yogurt the next, and I alternated it until all 5 biscuits were eaten and both yogurts were eaten as well. I will have to say the biscuit was very delicious. But interesting enough, that little container of yogurt with half of that banana really filled me up. It was pretty substantial for me. And I was actually quite shocked because I thought the biscuit would do that more, but the yogurt did it more for me at least. So you guys are wondering, what is for lunch? Well, when I thought about lunch, I also thought about the fact that she might be out of the apartment and maybe not be able to come back to the apartment. And will she have access to a refrigerator or even some place to heat it up? So what I decided is a pasta salad really fit the bill, because who doesn't like pasta salad? So as you could remember, going back to the grocery haul, I had a pound of that pasta. So I cooked up half of the box, half a pound of pasta. I cut up as much carrots because I have an entire bag of carrots, and I'm going to use carrots for another recipe for dinner. So still I have a lot of carrots to cut up to put in that pasta salad. Cucumbers, I did probably a fourth of that cheese, of that 8-ounce block of cheese, diced that up, as well as half a package of that turkey pepperoni, and I quartered those pepperonis. And I just combined it all together. The pasta, the veggies, the cheese, the turkey, as well as half of the Italian dressing. Because if you remember in that grocery haul, I had a whole pack of Italian dressing mix, and I only used half of that package to make the dressing, and it was perfect. It was enough dressing to dress all of that pasta salad. I'm going to use the other half of that pack in another recipe for dinner. So this made it extremely easy, friends. It made a lot. And what I love about a pasta salad is it has the pasta for that additional carbohydrate that sort of carries you on a little bit further through the day without being hungry. Tons of protein between the cheese as well as the turkey pepperoni. The turkey pepperoni is a healthier, less fat, and less sodium, especially the one that I purchased. And then you have all those delicious veggies. So it's a really good compact meal for something on the go. And I'd have to say, my husband and I enjoyed that pasta salad all through the week because that's what we ate for lunch. Now let's talk about dinners. Came up with 2 recipes that pretty much gave at least 4 servings, healthy servings, which gave her 8 meals through the week. So she had 1 meal left over for maybe if she wanted a little bit more. But these recipes definitely gave a heavy portion, 4 heavy portions that could feed her for the next 7 days for dinner. So let me share with you what I came up with. Let's get cooking on this pasta pizza skillet dinner. I took half a pound of ground turkey, browned it, salted it, peppered, and added a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Then I took the rest of the box of pasta, cooked it up. It's about 8 ounces. Mixed it well with the turkey, got it well incorporated, and then add 3/4 of this can of pizza sauce. Yes, I said 3/4 of a can. I'm going to keep 1/4 of it aside for the other dinner. Now, once I have that topped onto the skillet dinner, I'm going to make sure it's well incorporated. Make sure that pizza sauce is mixed well between that pasta and the turkey. Now, to help that along a little bit, I'm just going to add just a smidge of water to the pan because I want to really make sure that that pizza sauce gets well distributed across the dish. Now, while that's mixing well together, I'm going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees because I'm going to put this pizza skillet dinner into the oven for at least 10 minutes after I have finished putting this dish together. Now, I had 4 ounces of cheese left over from that block of 8-ounce cheese block. I shredded the rest of that up, and I'm topping that cheese to this skillet dinner. Now, once all the cheese is topped on the pasta and turkey, I'm going to add some turkey sausage. Now, friends, I had half a package left of this turkey sausage, turkey pepperoni. And so you can add a lot of turkey pepperoni to this dish, but I just covered it and I'm placing it in the oven for about 10 minutes to ensure that the cheese is melted and the pepperoni is crisp. Now I added 3/4 of a package of frozen green beans to a pot with some water, and then added a half a package of this Italian seasoning. Got it to a hard boil. Once it got to a hard boil, then I turned it to a simmer and let it cook until this pizza was completed. Now this is the finished product right out of the oven. Look, it looks just like a pizza, friends, and it smells so good. Now I put 1/4 of that dish onto a plate and add some green beans, and this is dinner tonight. It was really delicious, and friends, I will be making this for future dinners to come. We are going to make shepherd's pie. I'm going to take the other half of that ground turkey, which is a 1/2 pound, and put it into a hot pan with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now, as I'm breaking this up, I am going to add some flavoring. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of this beef stew seasoning that I find wonderful if you're on a budget. Who says you can't have wonderful flavors while you're on a budget? Those packet seasonings does the trick. Now, also, I'm going to add some onion powder to this dish because Maggie has onion powder as well as some garlic powder. She has onion powder, garlic powder, seasoning salt, and Italian seasoning in her spice cabinet. So I'm going to make sure we incorporate that into those dishes. And I'm adding about 3 carrots diced. Now I'm also adding some water to the bottom of this pan to scrape up all those delicious bites, what we call delicious seasoning bits. And I'm going to top this and let those carrots simmer to get softened just a little bit because they're going to be a little bit harder in texture than green beans, or at least they cook a little bit longer. Now I'm adding the rest of those green beans, which is about 1 cup of green beans, to the pan, and another tablespoon of that beef stew seasoning mix. Adding a little bit more water, so that way, add just a little bit more water to that pan to get that seasoning mix all well incorporated amongst the veggies and the turkey. Let that cook and simmer for another 5 minutes. Now, as you can see, there is still quite a bit of liquid to that pan, but that's okay. We'll deal with that in just a moment. Now I'm going to add the rest of that pizza sauce to the pan, and that's about 1/4 of that can, and just a little bit more water to ensure that we get all that delicious pizza sauce flavors out of that can. And I'm going to make sure it's well mixed together. Top it again and let it simmer so all those flavors marry well for about 5 minutes. Now see, we still have quite a bit of liquid in there, but that is okay. We want those flavors to continue to marry together because there's a lot of flavoring going on. So I just let it simmer on the stove for about 5 minutes until it gets to this consistency. See, it's gotten nice and thick. It's got a nice, really good sauce going on with the veggies and the turkey. That tomato sauce actually really help pull it together. And in that seasoning packet, it has a bit of cornstarch that thickens that gravy up quite well. Now I'm following the package directions on the back of this instant potato mix. It asks for 2 boiling cups of water. I mixed it well with a whisk. Now the trick behind this is as you're pouring the potatoes in, you want to whisk it at the same time to ensure that all the clumps get out of it, and add just a touch of pepper for some seasoning. Now I preheat the oven to 350 degrees, and I've greased an 8x8 baking dish, as you can see here. Now you want to add all of those veggies and turkey mixture to the bottom of this pan, spread it evenly, and then you want to top it with every bit of those instant mashed potatoes, friends. Now some of you are wondering, instant mashed potatoes, do they taste good? Well, I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of mashed potatoes. I like I don't like chunky mashed potatoes. I do like no lumps or clumps in my mashed potatoes. So instant mashed potatoes is my friend because it really makes it very smooth and very easy to cook up. I like the flavor of it. So if you haven't tried them, you have to give them a whirl. They're best friends, your best friend when it comes to quick cooking. I'm going to add some seasoning salt and pepper to the top of this dish, just to add a touch of flavor. And I'm going to put this in the oven and let it bake for about 20 minutes to get it nice and bubbly and a little brown on top. And friends, this gives you easy 4 very healthy helpings for nights and dinners to come. And I have to say, friends, this was really delicious and comfort food all in one dish. You've got to try this. Friends, I reached out to my friend Maggie, who inspired this $20 meal plan for 7 days. And I asked her, how did it go? How did you feel during those 7 days? And she said that she felt great. The food was delicious. She never felt deprived. And she loved the fact that she prepped everything before her week started. So she was prepared and not caught off guard of not being prepared for the week. She said she loved the biscuit option of being able to grab, heat it up, and take it on the go, and mixing it up through the week with that yogurt. So not having the same thing every single day. She loved the pasta salad. And in fact, she had she said about a portion of it left over at the end of 7 days. And I said, what was your favorite dinner that you made? And she's like, well, I really love the pizza pasta, because who doesn't love the taste of pizza? But she's like, that shepherd's pie was just warm and cozy and comfortable, and it reminded her of home. So she said she enjoyed both of those dinners, and she said she mixed it up. Some days when she was able to be at home and be able to heat up her food, she ate maybe a shepherd's pie for lunch and then took the pasta salad to work that evening. So needless to say, friends, if you are in that crunch of life where you only have a certain dollar amount, maybe $20, and you needed to feed yourself for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you can indeed get some healthy items in there, like some good proteins, some veggies, and some dairy that will fill your belly and not deplete your bank account. So I hope this inspires you to be creative and not just live off the ramen or the canned soup, that you can get some delicious food throughout the week on limited amount of funds. Friends, if you haven't already, please subscribe. I would love to see you in my next video, which will be 3 new recipes that have a Mediterranean flair to them. Friends, make sure you stay safe and most importantly, stay encouraged.